Yo, what's going on, everyone? Hope you are having an excellent day. What's happening, y'all? Everybody hanging out here with your boys from Snaps, what I hope is your favorite college football podcast. I am TBob. He is Aaron Murray. I am not in my normal setup today. As you can see, I'm not in my hobbit hole. I'm in the Scarlet Monastery. I will be on the road for a couple of days here. So a hurricane is coming to Louisiana. I don't think it's going to be especially bad or anything, but I'm going to bring the kid. My wife's just left for New York City. She's going on a girls trip. And so I am going to bring the kiddos up to Northwest Louisiana. So I will be doing the show remotely for a bit and in just classic, like what the fuck is life fashion? You know, this is my last day to really work and grind and, you know, in the studio in my normal spot. And then of fucking course, the second my wife goes to the airport, what happens? My son's school fucking called. Fever, puking on himself. So next thing you know, now I'm going to fucking pick up him. Whatever. I'm a little frazzled, but you know what I'm excied for shit like this.
Get sick as you're babysitting them for Hurricane Day for the next couple of days too.
I mean, unreal.
Be ready for that.
We are gonna be. But I will say this: I'm a little frazzled, but you know what makes my day? Stuff like what UGA fan 768 here says. First time catching the show live. Love the show. Thank you, UGA fan. We love doing this show. And thank you all so much for the support. Channels popping off. Continue to support, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Aaron, what's up, brother? How you doing?
So you talk about getting a call from the school. So I'm doing a show, a hit for local WSB. I do like a morning show. It airs on Saturday mornings for the game. And I get my watch notification from my wife, and I get all it says is Principal Helen just called. I was like, oh. Maddox apparently got too silly during circle time and kicked his teacher. No more wrestling. He can't be physical like this. It's unacceptable. I was like, Maddox, why are we kicking the damn teacher, buddy? Why are you kicking the teacher,
Maddox? It's a bad play, brother. Bad play. I get it. You're excited, getting a little silly. I know how that goes. Remember, that guy looks like fun, but a complete liability. I remember I'm starting to see that. So I have two older daughters, and then I had my son, right? And I'll be damned if the boys he's just way more rowdy. And even my middle daughter's pretty fucking rowdy. Like, she gets a little sideways, certainly, but like he just hits shit all the time. That's all he ever wants to do. Go Ducks.
And I'm finally, we just need to make sure, and people, we're going to get to the breakdown, but just real quick, I told her, I was like, the wrestling can happen. We just have to tell them, like, this is when you can get physical and when you can't. When it's you and dad and we're wrestling, that's fine. But don't go kicking your damn teacher.
No.
It's gonna be a fun.
That's like the other day. I was at the girls have gymnastics, and Bobby's with me. We're hanging out. He's playing with a little baby, and he just kicks the baby in the face. Just fucking kicks the baby in the chin. I'm like, what the fuck? And I obviously got to be performative, right? Like, I got to get pissed at him. It's right in front of this baby's parents. I can't act like I can't be like, he's pretty fucking dumb. He doesn't really understand anything. So I'm like, you know, like trying to get mad at it. I was just, oh my God, dude.
Don't train no bitch.
Okay, we're about to get the game previews real quick, guys. I am not in Iron Forge. I'm in the Scarlet Monastery. And if you look right there at that little guy right there, that's my old dwarf character during Season of Discovery, Taramber. I miss him, but life took over and I had to bail on WoW once again. That's a very good time. So, all right. Ben says, Miss T-Bob with the clutch trip timing. I mean, right? Going to New York City, avoiding the hurricane, hanging with the girls till Friday. Good on her. That's a heady play. And I credit her for it. All right. So so this is our new Tuesday schedule this year, guys. We break down the games coming up this weekend. And I'm going to steal a little Brooks Austin take here, Aaron. So Brooks last week said, Brooks talks say, look, any talking head say that this weekend's slated game sucks, like basically like, screw you. We get football once a year, blah, blah. I agree with that. There will be a lot of people that will try to poo-poo this weekend's slate of games. There'll be a lot of people that'll say, oh my God, College Game Day is going to fucking South Carolina for the first time in 10 years. I've already seen the takes. This is the worst game day location ever, blah, blah, blah. You know what I say to you? Fuck you. I love college football, and I'm going to enjoy every fucking weekend that I get it. And maybe this is something that comes with age, but as you get older, you only have so many of these weekends left. Aaron, I don't want to freak anybody out. I'm 36. Let's say I die at 72.
You're that old. Damn.
Yeah. What are you, like 33? You're in your Jesus year?
33.
You're in your Jesus year. It's a great year.
Great
Everything's gone downhill for me after the Jesus year, except for snaps. So keep it up, guys. And having kids, more kids or whatever. But I'm 36. Let's say I die at 72. Okay. 36 years. Let's say there's 12 weekends of college football. That's fucking scary math. 36 times 12 is not a lot. Like, I don't got many of these opportunities. So, yeah, I'm going to enjoy Alabama at Wisconsin. I'm going to
432. 432. It's not a little, but it's not a lot either.
It's not a lot. This ain't the NBA. That's like 2 NBA seasons. That's like 1 baseball season. Okay? Yeah. So, I'm going to enjoy Alabama, Wisconsin. I'm going to enjoy Boston College at Mizzou, ranked on ranked. Bill O'Brien, Eli Drinkwitz. I'm going to enjoy Georgia. Well, no, that's not true. I'm going to enjoy LSU at South Carolina. I'm going to enjoy A&M at Florida. And I hope that all of y'all are willing to come along with us, because it's going to be another great weekend of college football. And you already know this, a lot of times when we think the weekend's going to be boring,
this past weekend,
those
last weekend looked worse than this weekend. Last weekend looked worse than this weekend. We all agree on that. Last weekend heading into it looked it to me. Yeah, I mean, it was. We thought about in the offseason, like, at least week 2 we have Texas, Michigan, because everything else kind of is blah.
Yeah.
Did you anticipate South Florida, Alabama to be competitive, North Illinois to beat Notre Dame, for Boise State to be only down, lose by 3, Bowling Green to be with Penn State? Like, this was blowout weekend.
Yeah,
I don't think we were all like banking on Tennessee being as exciting maybe early on. Oklahoma and Houston was a football game. Arkansas, Oklahoma State. Like, I don't think any of us were expecting close matchups with a lot of these.
That's a good point. That's a great
Syracuse and Georgia Tech to be like 2 good football teams playing each other.
We didn't expect it preseason, certainly. Now, we expected it during the week, but yes, preseason would have had no idea that we would have given it a shit.
We thought this week was going to suck in preseason and it being great. So, like, I think what we've talked about over and over again is the fact that there has been this, because of the portal, because of NIL, the wealth being spread amongst teams. There are plenty of teams now that are good, that have veteran players that maybe played a little bit at a bigger school, wanted more playing time, went somewhere else. So we will be surprised more and more about how competitive games are going forward.
Michael Bragg says, but that game day location is still booty. I disagree, because Williams-Brice, actually, Aaron. Okay, let's go ahead and start with our first game preview of the day. And we'll dive into some LSU traveling to South Carolina for the first time in 16 years. And as if today's show hadn't made me feel old enough, Aaron, do you know what happened last time LSU played at South Carolina? A young redshirt freshman phenom, fullback / PP on the punt team, tore his ACL in non-contact punt coverage. That's right. Your boy was wearing 49 at the time. Redshirt freshman, finally seeing the field, right? They got me playing fullback and special teams. I'm fucking pumped. We punt the ball. By the way, the first kick return, that place was lit. Williams-Brice was insane. Garcia at quarter, or not Garcia. Yeah. Garcia at quarterback. Belief in the air. It was a night game. It really felt like, I've always described it like this. It felt like a giant high school game in the best possible way. What I mean is it felt like a fucking party. And like everybody knew each other. And there wasn't the super defined lines between Greek, not Greek, student, nor citizen. It was just this giant pumped up crowd, man. I had juice flowing through my veins. I'm covering the punt. I know this guy's about to cut back into me, and he has the ball in the wrong hand. I know I'm about to cause a fucking fumble. I might even recover that thing. I'm about to be a hero. He sees me. He does one move, and my knee just explodes. Just literally explodes. Ends up being, ended up, it's also the game, never forget, where the referee tackled Garcia in a critical possession in the red zone right before half when he may have scored a touchdown, an all-time highlight. We end up winning. I'm out for the year. But, okay, when life gives you lemons, what do? You make lemonade.
Squeeze I lost.
Okay, so I lost my flip phone because I was on crutches. So what did I do? That Monday, I called my mom and I said, I'm so depressed about getting injured. The only thing that's going to make me feel better is getting me an iPhone, which had just dropped at the time. So silver
Your mom
lining.
she is very generous. Very generous.
Okay, fucking relax.
Very
fucking
generous.
You
Just
need to
the
pump
most
the
generous.
No. Stop. You need to pump the brakes right now. But it was cool. iPhones had just come out. Again, guys, I'm old. This was 16 years ago. And that's how long it's been since LSU's played at South Carolina.
I will say this, like the environment in the game, I agree. The South Carolina environment, vastly underrated for those who have never been. It is wild. I loved and hated playing there. It wasn't like scary, but it was just fun. Like the energy is exciting for everyone. It's a really good time, and it gets loud as hell. I don't know about the pregame festivities though. It's not like they're calling the game. They're just doing the show there.
Yeah, it'll be lit though. It hadn't been there in 16 years. They're 2-0.
Yeah.
They got belief. They just embarrassed Kentucky on the road, right? So all the old Dominion bitterness is washed away. And because game day hasn't been there in, I think, a decade, Aaron, they're going to want to show out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, the South Carolina fans are some of the most loyal fans in the SEC.
Yes.
By far, some of the most loyal fans. Good, bad, whatever. You can count on South Carolina fans are going to show up. So, like, yes, it will be a good time. I take it back. Like those fans,
they do the train tailgating, don't they? Don't they? They have some sort of train. The cock bus.
Cockabus.
Is that like the bang bus? Is that related? Because I used to have a Brazzers prescription, and I don't remember seeing the cock bus. Oh, that was a different part of the site. That was your part of the site you used to like. That's right.
Yes.
But yes. They do that. I love the fact that they say cock so open and freely. In fact, I patted myself on the back of my radio show this morning. I haven't made one cock joke on the radio. And you can. When you play South Carolina, absolutely. If you play South Carolina, the cock innuendo technically can be out of control. I can't say suck my cocks, but I can say I'm a big fan of cocks. This is a big cock defense, right? I mean, watch out. If you don't put this cock team in its place, the next thing you know, you're going to let the cocks run the hen house.
You're telling me next time I cover a South Carolina game that I can use this and I get fired? Or is this radio?
I don't think you should trust me, but especially not because, like, I one time at Stadium when I did we get shows up there during the spring, I said Kirby, I said Saban cucked Kirby, and I was informed by a producer that if I said that, he used to work at the Big Ten Network, he used to run it, and I was informed that if I said that on the Big Ten Network, they would have fired me immediately and walked me out. So I'm not exactly a good judge. Again, a lot of fun, complete liability. That said, I've avoided it on my show. Okay, let's get to the actual matchup. Even though, did you see the girl last week with the Saturdays for the Cox shirt? Because that's exactly, it's so good. It's all so good. Anyway, this matchup is actually kind of fascinating. And I'm going to start here. South Carolina has two elite pass rushers. The two men that are currently first and third in the SEC for sacks on the year. What's the young cat's name, Aaron? I'm pulling it up right now.
Well, they have Kennard, the Georgia
Kyle
Tech
Kennard's
transfer.
been there forever. Yep, he's a senior. He's leading the SEC with 3.5 sacks right now.
And he's pretty damn good. Through the first two games, like I had in the first week and seeing him go out there and do his things, like, man, like this guy looks good. And then Dylan Stewart's the freshman, and he is. They didn't say it, but you could feel it that there's another defensive end that was at South Carolina when I played, that there's a lot of chatter about he may and could be better eventually.
Oh, like scary. They don't want to say it out loud as to jinx it, but you're talking about Jadeveon Clowney, obviously.
Yes.
And you're talking about the freshman phenom Dylan Stewart.
Dylan is 6'6", 250, can bend and move like he's 6'2", 220. It is unbelievable.
Yeah, the bend on one of the sacks last week, he was literally about 6 inches off of the ground. And so, again, to start there, think about having those two guys going up against Will Campbell and Emory Jones. Two of the best.
It's good on good, though. So, like, I give advantage. I mean, I guess you're on the road.
I'm just talking about something fun to watch.
Oh, 100%.
That's all I'm talking
like, that
about.
is the matchup. We always talk about, like, receivers, DBs, quarterback versus D. Like, no, this matchup is truly two of the best tackles in college football against two elite pass rushers that are in a very hostile environment. That is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So exactly. So they're going to have South Carolina with the crowd on their side. That's going to make it even harder. And Campbell and Jones are going to have to be going off a silent count. And Campbell's actually had a lot of false starts early on here through 2 games. Like LSU's run blocking leaves a lot to be desired. I think they're average a bit disappointingly, but pass blocking is still elite. Like when I'm watching LSU film, I just look at how they're IDing everything, and I don't even really watch the technique because it's just guys locked up. But if I'm Dylan Sampson or Kennard, you know what I'm seeing this weekend? I'm seeing dollar signs. Because if you win these battles, if you go and you get a sack on Campbell, you get a sack on Jones, you know who takes notice? The NFL takes notice. So this can be a resume builder for both sides. Let me ask
you this, T, because obviously you've really done your job looking at the LSU run game and the offensive line. And I've watched it, but I always enjoy watching the quarterbacks, the receivers, kind of what goes on the back end, that sort of thing. And I just go into the season assuming that this offensive line is elite, and they are elite in the pass protection.
Elite, I think we can agree there. Elite, yes.
But when you look at the stats and Nichols, they only rush for 60 yards, 3 yards per carry against Nichols. Yeah. At what point on the road do you turn into a straight air raid team for LSU? Is that the thought process now? We are going to run just to a couple of times just to show you we can, but we know we can't. So this is 70-30 pass to run ratio for this football game.
So Brian Kelly has maintained this week that the reason why the ratio has been as pass heavy as it has is not because they don't believe in their running game. They are saying it is because it's what the defense is giving them, which is certainly some truth to, right? Like Nichols was playing a lot of cover one man, putting an extra guy in the box. And it's like, okay, well, we're going to
why would teams do that? I don't anticipate that happening going forward. That's stupid.
Yeah, no. I think I'm inclined to agree. But still, even with your 20 carries, you only average 3 per. And I've watched the running game closely, and through 2 games, there's just so it's a few different elements. There's not a lot of push. This looks like an O-line error that has not had to do traditional run blocking for a few years. Yes. And quite honestly, they kind of haven't. So they're not very practiced at it. The tight ends are pretty awful at blocking. Mason Taylor's all right. The 2 young guys are really bad. And the running backs, John Emery was the best one. He's out now. The running backs, they don't know.
They I thought that Caleb Jackson kid, I remember a year going out the game, they were loving the Caleb Jackson kid.
Athletic freaks.
Yes.
But they too seem out of practice with gap scheme runs, with your counters, powers. They don't have the patience to let it develop in front of them. Like if you watched Nichols quarterback, whatever, Guggenheim last week, their running back, Louisiana high school legend, Gus Nichols, whatever, his patience. And if I was Frank Wilson, the LSU running back coach, I would show my own running backs the Guggenheim film because his patience in letting everything develop and then hitting it when he had to is exactly what LSU, what their running backs need to work. So it's a bit of a perfect storm of average when it comes to running the ball. And South Carolina's interior D line is good too. So I think you're going to have to throw your way to victory if you're LSU here.
I am shocked that the more we talk about this, the more I'm like, this is not favoring South Carolina, but favoring a competitive football game. I know firsthand how tough it is to play quarterback in that stadium. It is extremely tough. Luckily the game's at noon, I believe, and not 3:30 or 7. God. But game day is going to be there. So I don't think it's going to be a slow trickle into the stadium. People are going to be up early, excited.
It'll be full and ready to go. Yeah.
It'll be full, ready to go. Sandstorm's going to be going. So it is very difficult to play there. First off, you don't have a run game that you can just sit back and rely on. And I think South Carolina is going to do kind of the opposite what you talked about. I think they're going to start off mostly with a 2 high safety and say our D line is so good right now. Our front 7, our front 6, and a nickel defense. And your offensive line can't run, pro, that we're just going to protect the pass and see if we can stop the run with a light box, which I would too, until LSU, 1, commits, and then 2, has success doing it. I'm not going to let Garrett get hot because Garrett's been hot through the first 2 games. I mean, 75% completion, 8 touchdowns, 1 pick. you gotta prove to me that you can run the football. Then I'll bring a safety in the box.
Well, and the pick was last play of the game.
Yeah, end of the game.
It's not even really a pick. He's basically 8-0.
I think the line's like 6.5.
LSU's way, I would not touch an LSU bet with a 10-foot pole right now. I still cannot buy South Carolina's offense. So, and that's the other thing too. Like we think LSU should go in there and dominate. Brian Kelly, year 3, that roster, whatever. But you can't run. But the roster,
so advantage of it, and then your defense is still very suspect too.
The defense is real quick. Sean D says, Aaron, your film breakdowns are fire. We'll be doing them weekly. Aaron's committed to 10 quarterback breakdowns a week. I'll be adding in some film as well starting next week. We got some really exciting duo film breakdowns coming out on Wednesday. We got big film plan, guys, so stick around. No, Aaron, the defense is a problem. The personnel is just not that good. Already, the interior defensive line was a huge weakness. They were doing a pretty good job of scheming, but now you lose Jacoby and Guillory, by far your most experienced and talented guy. Harold Perkins is a disaster at inside linebacker. He doesn't need to play there. He catches. It's reactive.
They keep trying this. I just he went from best player on defense in college football almost 2 years ago, his freshman year, an absolute stud, wrecking havoc, making plays, tackling quarterbacks. Remember when they were playing Arkansas and they had the backup quarterback and that was like a receiver, super fast, and he's chasing him down in the backfield. Like, just let this dude see ball, get ball. And then they had this master plan to put him inside, and it just has been 2 years of he's been a shell of himself.
I actually think his best position, honestly, I wouldn't even use him as an every down edge guy. I think his best position is the role that Major Burns plays right now, this star role. It's a hybrid safety linebacker. Really? It's a bit like a nickel. Bro, he was good at that nickel backer role last year. Now, Matt House didn't always try, like Blake Baker will try to scheme for him more, but he's really good in coverage. What he's not good at is taking on blocks. Like, he catches. There's no pop. There's no extension. And I got to be clear by the LSU linebackers, it's an uphill battle because the D-line's not doing them any favors. They're kind of getting whooped up on, so guys are coming free. So the defense, the secondary is not good personnel-wise. The linebackers have talent, but it's just Perkins is not working there. The D-line suspect, that's why this is going to be a game. And Blake Baker, like he paid $2.5 million. He has to he really has to he has his work cut out for him trying to find success week in and week out with the personnel that he has.
I flip over to South Carolina's offense. I know there was some success last week versus Kentucky, which is surprising. It's like, I guess maybe what Beamer was saying to me before the first game of, hey, we have one guy that's a returning starter. Everyone else is essentially like a freshman or a redshirt guy, like, or a transfer. Like, this is a brand new offense, and just, it's going to be a process. I don't think it was great by any means last week. I think it looked good because Kentucky looked so bad on offense, but it is game number 3 from Lenoris. I think he should take away some confidence of going on the road and beating Kentucky. I think Rockets look really. I think Rockets by the end of the day too. What's that?
You haven't done a Sellers breakdown, have you? Like, he put up good numbers by the end of the game.
Yeah, he's
like for me, his third start, right? I mean, couple tuds, nice completion percentage. He still has all the athletic ability, and he missed a couple series being hurt as well. You got Robbie Ashford if you want to run the ball. Is it Doty, the other quarterback that they bring in? Or
Doty's like full-time receiver, but I don't think you're going to see Robbie. Like, Lenoris is the guy if he stays healthy, because Lenoris can run. Lenoris can, is the better passer of the two, which isn't saying a lot because Robbie struggles throwing the football. To me, Rocket's getting going. Like, I like what I saw week 1 from Rocket. I like what I saw week 2 from Rocket at times. Like, remember, he was a 1,400-yard rusher a couple years ago at Arkansas. So can you continue to build this offense, the zone reads, getting Lenoris on the edge, and a guy that I think is healthy, Jared Brown, receiver. I want to see him get the ball more a little bit for South Carolina too. The Coastal Carolina transfer, he's a freak athlete. So, like, they got a couple pieces. It's just like, it's not a great offense versus not a great defense. Like, who's going to bend? It's a weird matchup.
So no, it's a strength on strength, weakness on weakness. The defense is the strength of South Carolina. The offense is LSU's. They'll be going ahead, and vice versa. I think as far as it's also for both teams, a tale of two games.
Mm-hmm.
Week 1, LSU loses, but they could emerge feeling pretty good. That's a good USC team that they were, they battled. They had him, and then they lost it. USC stole it. They took it from, beat him up. But it was still a well-played game, right? South Carolina, on the other hand, they're very disappointed in their Week 1 win. But they gained momentum as Week 2, whereas LSU seemed to maybe lost it. LSU should be better top to bottom, but right now the whole team just feels very shaky. I'll take LSU in a close one. Again, I would not bet on this. I would not touch it. But I thought LSU would have dominated this game. I just chalked up as an easy win before the season, just to show you how much has changed here in just 2 weeks.
I think it's gonna be a good football game. I can't get behind Lenore's just yet. I can get behind Nuss. I think Nuss is good enough to put a team on his back and go out there and win a football game on the road. So I'll take LSU in a close game.
All right, so that is your LSU South Carolina breakdown. Next, let's go to Alabama, Wisconsin. The Crimson Tide traveling up to Madison to take on the Badgers. And I was starting to watch some Alabama film. The offensive line against South Florida, you were right, Aaron, just an abject disaster. Bad technique, bad ID calls, bad footwork, bad fits, bad head placement, just really perplexing. Well, actually, I guess not that hard. They had a lot of new faces in there due to injury and shuffling guys around, and it definitely showed last week.
Yeah, it was really bad, Mike. So we'll see how healthy they are. I don't know if we've got any updates, but at the offensive line, but like Alabama as a whole offensively, I think Jalen has progressed. I think he's going to continue to get better. He has to, because I just think the staff is better. But it's hard to get better when everyone around you is just, I'm not like I say average, because they're all 4 and 5 star guys, but like not at the same level or what we're accustomed to seeing from Alabama. Like you said, O-line was horrendous last week. I do like the running backs. I like Jam. I like Haynes. I think they're good at that position. I still think there's a lot of juice that needs to be squeezed out of the receivers. Like Ryan Williams is still young. I think he's 17 years old. Kobe needs to step it up. Kobe Prentice. Like we're just not seeing the explosiveness of these 4 and 5 star guys again this season. So is it going to have to be Ryan Williams, a 17-year-old, that's going to every single game have to continue to make plays? If that's the case, I don't feel great about this receiving core. So O-line's got to be better. Receivers got to be better. And I think at the end of the day, too, you look at the offense, you look at Jalen, you just have to say, listen, they're already running him more, which I like.
Yeah.
You're going to throw the ball 20, 25 times per game, and you're going to have to run it 15 to 20 or 15 or 10 to 15 times. So 40 touches, 25 passes, 15 runs. Like I just need to see a little bit more run from him.
I don't know if this is accurate off the top of my head, but would that be what like an old Utah Alex Smith box score would have been like? Like my memory of Alex Smith is kind of that, a lot with his legs, with Urban Meyer. That was early in the zone read.
Like Dak,
okay, yeah. All fair,
Yeah.
all fair points. Dak, that is true, because Dak, I think of Dak as such a passer now. But that's really happened in the NFL, which is kind of surprising. You don't normally see that. Like
Dak was not a great. College, I mean, he was a decent passer in college, but he was known for the big, like for me,
that's what I'm saying.
Highlights of big runs.
So I'm in a bit of a holding pattern with Alabama. Because as we said yesterday, I was really hyping them up in the offseason, especially the Milroe improvement I expected to see. I understand how the O-line, somewhat how it looks so bad because they had to move guys around. I mean, Wilkin Formby at right tackle, I'm sorry, he was really bad last week. They got to figure something out. They got to maybe give somebody else a chance to adjust something more. I hope that maybe Caden Proctor gets healthy again. I'm not off Alabama, though, because, again, we saw this script last year, and the problem is you could say, oh, TBob, USF had him, so, Wisconsin's better. Okay, but I don't think Wisconsin's that good. Like, it doesn't matter that they're going on the road. It doesn't matter that it's Wisconsin. I still do not see how Wisconsin pushes Bama for a full 60 minutes all the way to getting a win, even if they have some early success.
Yeah, I agree. Like Alabama should push them around, but Alabama didn't push USF around. So we can say all we want that Alabama should do this. Alabama should do this. Alabama should do this. Alabama should do this. But until they do it, like we can't just saying just because it's Alabama, and they got the number on the helmet and they're wearing the crimson, that they're just going to roll out there and just dominate, because they're not.
I didn't say
They're not
dominate.
right now.
I'm saying I could see Wisconsin keeping it close early, a la USF. But then I see Bama pulling away late. Again, a la USF. You know what I also see, though? If Alabama gets healthy, they lock back in, it's a bit of a wake-up call, and they go and fucking roll Wisconsin. What I don't see is a scenario where Wisconsin wins. It would be a Northern Illinois to Notre Dame level of upset to me if Wisconsin were to win this game.
Calm down with that shit.
I mean, a bit extreme, but
I'm not. I've been years now of saying, like, I'm not the biggest Tyler Van Dyke fan. Went back and watched their last game versus South Dakota. Like, we don't know who Wisconsin is this year. They've played Western Michigan. They played South Dakota. I think Van Dyke has looked okay, not great, just okay. I like their receivers, Pauling and Green. Like, it's year 2 in a brand new system that we all kind of scratch our head. Like, can you truly run this air raid offense at Wisconsin? You went out there and got the quarterback you think is going to be better for it. You got some good receivers on the outside. Can Tyler Van Dyke have a good moment? Like, we had a couple moments last year at Miami, like, oh my God, he's getting through. He's back to his old form. And then he went to shit. Like, is he finally going to get to the point where we see some more consistency from Tyler Van Dyke? This would be the perfect opportunity to do that. So, like, I think I'm with you. I think they keep it close. I think Alabama's still working on some stuff on offense, trying to figure out their identity, what they want to do, how do they optimize Jalen's talent level. So it's going to be a little bit tough early game on the road. But I think it's like USF a little bit. They will pull away in the fourth quarter.
Okay, so we're kind of saying the same thing. It just seems like you're giving Wisconsin a little more of a shot.
I just haven't seen anything from Alabama's offense for 2 weeks that makes me think like they're that high powered.
But Alabama's defense is still awesome, you know.
I agree.
And I agree. It's yeah. So okay, well, it doesn't matter. We're saying the same thing. Okay, for Alabama, this is a game in which they have to refine their confidence a bit.
Yes.
It's the exact same time that they did it last year. Kalen DeBoer is a really good coach, and do you know what good coaches do? There's an old saying in politics: never waste a good disaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because a lot of conspiracy theorists will say, well, look at what the government did here after this major event happened. And they're like, the government must have caused the event. No, not necessarily. It's a fallacy. The idea is this happened and it fucking sucks, but how can we use it to get what we want done? For DeBoer and company, last week fucking sucked, but you got out of there. You made it through Saban Field Day without fucking it up. And now you can ream their ass all week long in the film room and really lock them in to go on the road to Madison. And you know they're not taking USF that seriously, dude, especially not at home. They're kind of chilling, even with last year.
After what happened last year, I don't think so.
How it is. You know how it is. You know how it is. You think they're
no. After what happened last year down in Tampa, and then them almost losing that game, this is still, I know it's USF and it's a group of 5 team.
These are Aaron's Tampa roots coming out right here. Dude.
Damn right, Tampa roots, baby. You're going to take them more serious than it was a year ago.
Sure, but you're still not taking that as serious as you're taking this Wisconsin team. So you have a scare that you survive. You have very clear areas in which to work on this week. I just think you're going to get a locked in Kalen DeBoer Alabama team. I'm betting on DeBoer, and I'm betting on the talent of the Tide, which is much more than Wisconsin than to carry this game. So, okay, you know what? You think it's going to be close? They pull away at the end. I'm going to say they dominate pretty much throughout the entire game. All right.
Guy on the left is right.
Which way is? But who's left? Our left or his left? Because if it's our left, it'd be Aaron. But if it's your left,
no, I'm looking at you. You're on my. Oh yeah, it is my right. But like on the screen left.
See, guys, fucking QB1. Are you kidding me? This is who you're trusting?
With your film breakdowns?
Not with the film breakdowns, just in general life.
The amount of interviews I've done this week with the film breakdowns. I've had like 3 or 4 Auburn stations, Alabama.
Oh, no way. Me, because everybody's eating that
for me to rip Payne Thorne on the film breakdown. Like the voice of the Auburn Tigers right now.
Okay, Daniel Tipton said the guy who is not Aaron is right about Bama. There's me, Daniel. Sounds like you might be new around here. My name's TBob. Nice to meet you. If you could like and subscribe, share with your friends at the library, the local gym, wherever, that'd be great. All right. Next on the list, a matchup that we would have thought had no juice going into this year, all of a sudden, very interesting. Boston College going to Como to take on Mizzou and company. Mizzou has played no one yet this year, but what can you do when you play no one? You control what you can control, and Mizzou's won 89-0 in their combined 2 games, right? So, yes, they played no one, but they have looked perfect while doing so, right? This is a team that is obviously locked in, that believes in the preseason hype and wants to live up to that preseason hype. So they're kind of validating how we talked about them to the offseason. Boston College is coming from a complete different direction. Because we thought they sucked. Nobody talked about them. And now all of a sudden they go and really just beat the hell out of FSU. They're undefeated. They find themselves back in the top 25 for the first time in a few years. And guys, we have to remember, we clown Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien is an awesome football coach. He ended up being a terrible NFL GM, but this is a man who brought Penn State back from the absolute brink of, hell after the scandal. He won multiple division titles in the NFL. Even though Alabama fans hated him, he still put together insane offensive numbers consistently at Alabama. And now he's at Boston College, and turns out, he can fucking coach football.
He can. We don't know how good FSU is, or if FSU is even a bowl team this year, which is still wild to say after 2 weeks of the season. But it was still a great win, and they were dominant, and they looked really good, and the offense looked really good. I want to talk with Missouri first. To me, last week, seeing what they have at the skill position, we talked about, because I had their bowl game, so like another bowl game, but their spring game. So I got to really see it, talk to the coaches, get some on us, and they're like, trust me, like our receivers are loaded this year. Like we've gone back and watched that Alabama team and seen what they did with all their depth and how to get guys involved. Not saying that they're as talented as those Alabama teams obviously on receiver, but they just like that we can get multiple guys the football and they can make plays. They can make one-on-one plays. And we're seeing that right now from Theo Weiss. Like Luther Burden goes out of the game because of some illness. Theo Weiss balls out. So like you got Theo, you got Marquise, you got Luther, you still got Mookie as well at the receivers. Like you can go 10 personnel, 4 receivers on the field and feel really good about it. And they like their tight ends. And then guess what? You hit a home run in the transfer portal with Nate Noel and Marcus Carroll. So this is a really, really talented offense. This is a defense that you allude to has not given up a point yet. That's flying around. That's making tackles. That's popping pads. All that good stuff. Yes, against lesser. Yes, against lesser talent, but still a good sign that they look like they're running the defense effectively early on. It's a really good Missouri football team, and you get them at home. I think for them, it's easier to get excited for this game because, just like you alluded to, like the mindset of an 18 to 22-year-old is always something that's very fickle, as we have all been there before. To be able to say, guys, they just beat Florida State, who's undefeated last year, gives you a little bit of a wake-up call. Just a little bit of a wake-up call for the Missouri.
Again,
and they're ranked.
I'm sure that Eli Drinkwitz and company are kind of excited here because they don't have to fake it to get their players pumped up for this game anymore. Because they'd be like, look, they're top 20. Talking about Castellanos, Thomas Castellanos, the Boston College quarterback, somebody who had some hype coming into the year. This far, completing 73% of his passes. He's got 6 touchdowns. He's got an unbelievable 13 yards per attempt.
Yes,
which doesn't make any
sense.
He
had a lot of big plays for Florida State. A lot of stuff which was mostly on Florida State and their coverage on the back end, just not a good job communicating. Guys are running wide open, but like that goes to Bill O'Brien. Like very good schematic offensive guy, putting his quarterback in a situation to hit layups. And that's the thing that you're going to watch in this game. Like, okay, Missouri, you've had a nice warm up for 2 weeks. You're getting your feet wet in this new defense. Now you're going against a really good offensive game plan with a quarterback that is hot right now. Yeah. So is there going to be some communication issues? Can Thomas take advantage of that, which he's done for the first 2 weeks of the season? He's a good athlete on top of that. It's just a really balanced offense. But no, like I've been really impressed with, yes, things have been open, but you still got to hit them, and you got to put it in the right spot where you can get catch yards after catch, and he's done that so far this season.
Well, and Castellanos can run, and then so can Ward and Robichaux. I mean, right now, Boston College leading the ACC, rushing for 280 a game. And I know the
5.8
Duquesne
average.
Yeah, the
5.8.
Duquesne game kind of, juices these numbers a bit, but even at the end of the year, I think that I feel pretty comfortable in that saying that this will be one of the better rushing teams in let me look at the game log here. I mean, yeah, again, so yeah, Duquesne 46 for 302, but against Florida State 52 for 263. So still averaged 5 yards a carry, still found the end zone twice. It's not a fluky run game. So a great test for this Missouri team, which feels very confident, but hasn't really been tested as of yet. And what a moment, though, for Bill O'Brien here, year number one. Boston, traditionally such a pro sports town. But so the first ever school I ever got recruited to was Boston College. And I went up to there and saw a game. And it was against Cincy State. It was actually a packed house. It was snowing a little bit. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I later went and hung out with one of my buddies who played at Harvard. I smoked weed and these like Fox clubs with like mahogany and leather everywhere. I remember going on a tour of BC and feeling like I was on a movie set of Hogwarts or something. I remember my old man asking the tour guide, "What's the male to female ratio here?" Very intelligent question. As we're sitting here in the library, this is an academic school, and here this man is, the heavily Cajun accent from South. He's like, excuse me, what's the male to female relationship? Which actually not good. More guys than girls. Anyway, but
there's more universities in Boston than anywhere else. So
a million. There's like 15 to 20, right?
20. Yeah.
So the point is, sometimes at BC, it's hard to break through the noise, right? Especially because the pro teams, but the town loves sports. And if they go on the road and beat Mizzou, that place will be packed out for the rest of the year. So really huge opportunity for Boston College. No real downside if they lose, because it's not an ACC game. I think all the pressure's on Mizzou here to show up.
No, 100% the pressure's on Mizzou to show up. Like 2 years ago, Mizzou was 6-7. Then last year they had the big year, awesome year, 11 wins, win the bowl game. And now we're automatically crowning them a bowl team. Like 2 years ago, this team was under 500.
Yeah,
they have one good season, and we're saying, "Oh, Missouri's a lock for a bowl team." So 100%, it's on. It's not like they've been doing it year after year after year after year. This isn't Georgia or Bama or Ohio State or even Lane's proven it multiple years in a row at Ole Miss. Like there's something to it. It's been 1 year sample size. And we're crowning them a top 10 playoff team. So they still got to prove it week in and week out. They got to prove it. And I think you said it best, this is their perfect opportunity because it's a good team. It's a team that's playing well. It's a ranked team, but someone that they should still beat at home.
They should absolutely win, especially being at home. And I think they will, to be fair.
I
love Boston College's story, but Mizzou has kind of arrived and everything's lined up for this year to be really good. And they'll definitely probably take a step back when you lose this crop. But again, what did we talk about with Kentucky yesterday? In this new era of college football, old ceilings have been shattered. And in Mizzou, you have a flagship that has no competition for in-state resources. Remember, they're the ones that passed the NIL deal where if you committed them out of high school, you can immediately start getting paid money. So they have the potential. If they follow through on this year, they have the potential to keep this thing going year in and year out, but you must win games like this consistently. And I think they will. Give me the Mizzou to beat Boston College at home.
I'm with it.
All right. Next on this list, a tradition as old as time.
Yeah. TBob's favorite week of the season. The week where Georgia gets to say they are freaking championship ready.
Yes. Now, obviously, given that Georgia already beat the hell out of Clemson, who looked really good against App State, they've already announced themselves in the world. So a bit of me is sad that I'm not going to get the traditional, see, Georgia is actually good. They beat the hell out of Kentucky. But my God, this game is going to be a snuff film. This game should be banned for viewers under 18. This game should not be allowed to be shown in certain countries. If you were to bring up this game at church on Sunday, your tongue should start burning and the pastor should tell you to get the hell out. because Kentucky does not stand a chance in no way. We talked about it yesterday. Mark Stoops, for some unfathomable reason, has decided that he wants to play Georgia style football at Kentucky, and that's how he's going to write his legend. And now he has maybe the worst version of that team that he has ever had. Oh, and the quarterback they're relying on, Kirby Smart, knows inside and out, and had him for years and know exactly where he sucks and where he's strong. Oh, and the Georgia defense appears like they may be better than ever. I mean, Georgia's favored by 23.5. I would take this thing all the way up to 30.
The only issue is that little hurricane that's going through you is going straight up through Kentucky and supposed to be pouring, pissing rain the entire game.
Good. That favors Georgia even more. I guess, actually, I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I don't know if that favors.
Just because it muddies up the works.
Kentucky should not score a point against Georgia. Let's just start off with that first. Kentucky's offense, who struggled at home versus South Carolina last week, should not score a point against Georgia. And I love South Carolina's defense. We just went over that earlier today. But Georgia's defense, as TBob said, is even a step above that. They should not score a point against Georgia. Their offensive line is atrocious. Their quarterback play is not very good on top of it. They got good receivers, but if you can't protect or can't throw, I don't give a damn how good your receivers are. Unless you're going to go back to what they did, I don't know, a decade ago and turn one of the receivers into a quarterback and just run Wildcat the whole time.
Yeah.
They do not have the line and quarterback to be successful. The only way this game is close, if it is pissing down rain and Georgia fumbles the ball 5 times because they screw up the quarterback center exchange, or a running back fumbles it, it gets super sloppy, and Kentucky gets the ball inside their own territory. If you tell, that is the only way. If this was a beautiful day and there was sunshine out, Georgia would win 45-0.
Yeah.
Kentucky has zero offense. Zero offense.
And if it's a rainy day, they'll win 35-0. So I agree with you. Well, not 10 points off, but I don't
think Kentucky can move the ball. I do not think Kentucky can move the ball.
I mean, so I've heard whispers among Georgia circles that this defense could be trending towards challenging even that of the 21 defense. Do we agree or disagree?
Yeah. I need to see a little bit more. Seeing a little bit more. But I mean, they're elite. I need to see a little bit more first. I need to see them going against a passing offense before we want to crown them that.
Okay.
Clemson still has a lot of things that they need to work out. I know they were better last week versus whoever the hell they played. But until we see them go against Alabama and Texas and Ole Miss and see if they don't, give up 25, 30 points in those games, then we can have the discussion. But until then, they're doing what they need to do against lesser opponents or lesser offenses, which is dominate, which they should do again this week. And then also on top of that, you flip over the other side, you got ETN back, and seeing what ETN did last week, how explosive he is. He got the rust knocked off of him. Him in his second game, they should dominate. There's nothing this is in years past. Maybe we could have a good conversation about this. Could be interesting, but Kentucky just does not have an offense that is going to scare Georgia at all.
And how is that defense? I mean, that defense didn't look good either against South Carolina. And Georgia doesn't, they're true pro style. Beck can throw the fuck out of it, but they can also run it, especially with Etienne back. And here's what I wanted to ask you. When it comes to playing in the rain as a quarterback, my old man always said that it wasn't the rain for him, it was the wind.
That was the opposite. I was fine with the wind, but I have smaller hands. 9-inch hand club,
9-inch Kings, baby.
So I was fine with wind. Obviously difficult.
How do you throw in the wind then? Like a golfer, you just you feel it?
I throw a good spiral, so that helped. I always threw a good spiral.
That cuts through the wind. Well, I'm gonna tell the Cannon you said he couldn't spin it. That's fine. Go ahead.
Couldn't spin it. Come on, Cannon, spin it.
Okay.
No, I just I could cut it through it, so that was better. The problem is,
but was it ever windy enough where you would? I'm just curious at this point.
No, I never played anything like that crazy.
You're not playing the curve. You're not okay,
no.
Okay, yeah.
You're not I'll say this though, it's a hurricane, so not only is it going to be windy or rainy, it's also going to be windy. So you get both. So I don't anticipate this being a heavy throwing game from Carson, who's bigger, has bigger hands. But I think this is a game where Kirby says they're struggling in offense. We have a good offensive line. We have good running backs. This is a get in, win, get out by any means necessary, and just get this game over with.
The thing is, like, Georgia's defense can sell out to stop the run.
Yes.
Just man up on the outside.
And the problem is with Kentucky is you can't throw the ball in good weather. What makes anyone think that you're going to throw the ball in bad weather? Georgia's just going to load the box. They're going to put 8 guys in the box and just say, I'm telling you, you're going to look at the box score. Kentucky's going to have 3 yards per carry, if not less, 150 total yards of offense, a bajillion punts, and they cross the 50-yard line one time.
There's never been a oh, damn. Somebody told me to look up Aaron. We got a $3 super chat, TBob. Look up Aaron and Quentin Dial.
Why we got to do that to your boy?
Look at that old cheap shot motherfucker, dude. You saw him you saw him at the last. Oh, my God. You saw him at the last like second, dude. Wait, hold on. I gotta show this right now.
You unbelievable. Baby hands. Question from the chat, TBob.
Yes.
Ask Snaps. Would you let your wife peg you once a month for $9 million a year for the Kentucky job, guaranteed for 10 years?
I
would do it for way less.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't play it until I have to quit. Yeah. What are we talking about? For sure. I mean, look, all pegging is a form of sexual stimulation. It's just anal stimulation.
It's a win-win. That's not like
I've heard. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've heard that the male G spot is in the anus. So like, you're telling me I'm going to explore something that admittedly I'm a bit insecure about, right? Like, just without the money, it's hard for me to say I want to be pegged.
Of all people who talk about sex and like how we should all not be afraid to talk about, because we all watch porn and we all do it, to be afraid to do that is a little shocking.
I wouldn't mind a finger up my ass. I could get there. And I could probably get to a full pegging situation. Maybe I don't know. It's having $9 million a year would just help me get there a lot faster. It has nothing to do with being gay. I am a staunch believer.
Getting pegged from your wife has nothing to do with being gay.
Well, it literally can't be gay. You're getting pegged by your wife.
Yes,
but that's a misconception of our society, is that anal stimulation is gay, which is not true. You're having sex with a female, it's straight. But again, I'm gay, straight, I don't care about any of it, to be clear. I'm just saying that's not where the fear comes from. The fear comes from it's very vulnerable. It would be a very vulnerable position, and I'm not used to being the vulnerable one in the bedroom. And I don't want to be too crass here. It's just like I'm a bigger gastrointestinal stuff, like I don't.
You're afraid to take a shit on her.
I would need to get cleaned. I would need to get like an enema. I want to get completely cleaned out before I feel comfortable doing that.
Okay.
And so my message for Mark Stoops this weekend is to go ahead and get that enema before the game. Otherwise, you're going to shit all over yourself. And then I'm really going to call you Mark Poops. And everybody's going to agree with me. Georgia wins big.
Georgia wins big. FYI, we're talking about.
Are we going to put that in? I mean, that has to stay in the breakout, right?
It's definitely in the breakout. And a lot of Georgia fans will be watching that. If you have a Georgia fan and we do this breakout, please send that to them. FYI, I have a production call in 6.5 minutes. So just FYI as we get to the next game.
Well, the only game we have next is, and we go quick here, it's Texas A&M at Florida.
Yep.
And really, let's just talk about the quarterbacks then, Aaron, because Connor Wegman has been maybe the biggest disappointment of the football season. I don't know if you'd agree with that or not. And you came in here all juiced up on some DJ Lagway.
Woo! I just did my film breakdown of DJ Lagway. Someone asked me to break down DJU. I'm done breaking DJU down for a while. So unless he gets better, I'm not turning that tape back on. I've done that, been there, done that. So DJ Lagway, though, if you want to watch, I know they played whoever the hell they played last week, but Sanford, I think. He looked good. Yeah. Go watch the breakdown. I just posted it like an hour and a half ago. Really impressed. I think this is interesting. I believe that Billy's come out and said that Graham is our guy. Like Mertz is our guy. We're moving forward with him this game. But you can't tell me that leash is not super short to, like, if that offense is not moving the ball or Graham looks rusty or not good, that DJ ain't going in, because DJ was explosive. DJ can run. He was spinning that bitch down the field. Like, I walked away saying, wow. Like, liked him
After
a
a
lot.
whole
So
off season of you just loving on your
I
boy
know,
Graham
no, I
Mertz,
feel so bad.
look at how
So bad.
quickly you have abandoned him.
I've not abandoned him. I'm
Oh,
just saying
yes, you
he needs to play
have.
good to keep his job. I'm not saying they need to bench him. I'm just saying if he does not play well, then that leash is
What if he
should be
played at
very
the level?
short.
What if he played at the level that he played last year? Does he
Then
stay
keep
in?
him in.
Okay.
Keep him in.
Okay. It
The
doesn't seem like you're
quarterback
really beating
position
that.
is not Florida's biggest issue. Their defense sucks. They have one receiver and the offense line's average.
Yeah.
Quarterback is like fourth on the list of what Florida needs to get fixed.
Well, but isn't that kind of the problem for Mertz then? Because if that's the case, who's going to be more capable of overcoming the deficiencies? The 5-star freak
Probably DJ.
or the kind of vanilla white guy who they let
Yeah.
wear number 15?
I know. Oh.
Napier, you kind of
Listen, I think it may be there is talks this week, no doubt in my mind. There's talks in that coaching office of if we're in a situation in the second quarter and it's not going great, we're going to be heading into the locker room. We're going to sit both quarterbacks down and say, DJ, you're in. DJ, and they're talking to DJ this week saying, DJ, be ready.
Did that ever happen to you?
I've been a backup before and was pulled. I was actually, this is funny. This is when I was in the AAF. I was the backup. Went to the locker room. This last game of the season. I was taking a shit. Going to the locker room taking a shit. And all of a sudden I hear the coach, where's Murray? Where's Murray? Where are you? I'm like, Coach. He comes in there. He's like, hey, Murray, you in there? I was like, yeah, I'm in here, Coach. He's like, you're in second half. I'm like, well, shit. Let me finish wiping. Coach is coming out now.
Oh, my man loaded up. He loaded up on coffee. Probably had a huge pregame meal. He thought he was
where the
chilling.
Fuck is Murray? Where is he? I'm like,
thought he was chilling.
I'm not in the mindset of going to a football game right now. I'm just trying to use the bathroom. And he's just freaking screaming my name through the locker. I'm like, damn it, I got to go in. I don't want to do this.
How did the second half go?
I don't remember. I think we lost. Probably played like shit, literally, figuratively.
That's it. The announcers. Oh, and here comes Aaron Murray out for the second half.
Toilet paper on his bottom of his cleat still.
He hasn't played yet today. Don't know why his backside appears to be muddy. And there he goes. And it's a pick.
This is interesting. This going back to the Wegman now.
Yeah, what's going on with
improved stats last week, but still he just doesn't look like the old guy that we saw a couple years ago. So I think it's a big game for him. Florida's defense sucks.
Help remind me though, when have we seen Wegman be good? He was good
against
Miami.
He was good
against. No, I'm saying no. I'm not being mean. I'm being legitimate.
I know.
I thought he only played in 2 or 3 games.
And he looked good in those games. Not like,
but I'm not crazy. That is the only sample size we have, right?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I got my years confused with Max John. I know if I was.
It's a very small sample size. Very small.
Okay.
I think we're all just banking on if that's a small sample size and you give him an extended time, how good can he be? And right now, it's not proving that we were right about that small sample size. So, but this is a good moment. You're on the road, hostile environment, and you're going against a bad defense. We all are on the Cam Ward bus because he went into Florida and dominated them. So, not saying that we're going to call Wegman a Heisman Trophy candidate after this game. I'm just saying, you can get a lot of love from the fan base if you go in there and have a good game on the road against a big brand and knowing in the back of your head that this is just not a very good defense.
Also, A&M needs a shot of confidence after, they emerged out of week 1 feeling okay, I think we acquitted ourselves pretty well. That's a good Notre Dame team. That's a top 5, probably playoff Notre Dame team. Now, all of a sudden, you had Northern Illinois just go do what you could not, and they did it in South Bend.
Yeah.
So, I love sometimes how the law of transitive sports properties can affect our levels of confidence, and that's exactly what A&M fans are dealing with. So, I will go with the Aggies here, though, just because I think that Florida's too much of a disaster, and that offensive line's going to get wrecked by A&M's front seven.
You said you're going with Florida or A&M?
No, I'm going to the Aggies because I think the Aggies front seven will wreck Florida's offensive line.
Yeah, and I think the Aggies should handle Florida's defense pretty effectively. It's not a good defense. So I think I honestly think it could get pretty ugly. I don't think it's going to be a super pleasant to watch football game at times. It'll be like a traditional college football game of 2 average football teams. But A&M gets the win, and I think it'll be a big win for their program to get to 2-1.
There you go, guys. That is week 3 of college football previewed. If you're listening live, it doesn't matter, but we'll break these out, put them on the YouTube channel. If you're listening on podcast, you want to go check it out. YouTube.com/@snapcfb_. Just Google snaps CFB. We got some exciting. This is kind of fun idea that one day we should watch our own film on here. Maybe we'll do that as like a subscriber goal sometime. And guys, look, the one thing I would ask, just be a little patient with us, because I know we got a lot of ideas, and sometimes there's immediate follow through. Sometimes it takes a while. We will get to everything that we're talking about eventually. We are just still figuring out kind of our week to week rhythm. And I think we're getting to a really good spot. So thank y'all for being a part of this journey. Please continue supporting the channel by liking and subscribing and telling your friends at the library about it. We love you. Again, I will hit the road. I will see you remotely this week, but we'll still be doing this. Snaps, baby. Let's go. College football. We love it. Film breakdown live show tomorrow. I don't know if anything will be broken out for the YouTube channel 100%. So we're going to experiment with a little bit. Come hang out tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. Same time. We'll see you then.
Yep.
Later, guys.
Peace.